Okay, I thought I'd make a separate video about the final project of the class or this workshop in music composition. And basically what we're doing is we're kind of throwing the doors wide open and saying, okay, now let's put this all together into one piece. And if this were a classroom situation with a bunch of people meeting regularly, we would, of course, be playing them for each other in like a mini recital format. We would be writing for multiple instruments and all kinds of fun things to exchange ideas. Since we're online and all over the country and so forth, we can't really do that. But what I can do is if with your permission, is share your final compositions on D2L, and I can put them in a folder here. And so if you want to look and see what other people are doing, we can do that. What part of composition classes, I think, is the sharing of ideas and performing for each other and having some fun. Finding the fun in composing. So it's part of the challenge. Teaching this online is part of the challenge, is finding that connection. So any suggestions in that regard would be nice. And I'm always learning of ways to do this differently. So so let's approach the final project, and I'll just sort of talk through this and what we're trying to do with this. You're composing an original composition that utilizes or draws from any previous part of the course. The only catch really is the duration. Well, there's a lot of requirements, but really we're just kind of pulling all the things together, drawing from all the sketches that you've done before. It has to be at least 3 minutes in duration, no more than 5. Your piece must draw from previous assignments in the class. You do not need to generate new material for this. I am a firm believer that just to keep it economical, you don't need to compose brand new things every time. You can reuse your sketches. That's what they're for, right? Arrange your previous sketches and materials into a new work. You will likely have to do some editing, of course, to make this all fit together and to make it all as musical as possible, right? So I recommend using notation software for this. It's just easier to get it to be performed. If you want to handwrite it and have it performed by someone in your neck of the woods and record that, that's fine too. But just, notation is just a little easier to do this. Your piece should adhere to a form. And that's a scary word, but it's really, really, really useful. That it's a way to organize our sketches and our ideas. So let's say I'm throwing out ABA form structure as a starting point. Let's say you want to start with some serialism at the beginning, go into your cryptograms, and then go back into other your other row forms at the end, or you're trying to define your piece by the form and use the form to organize your thoughts. Your score must be notated properly and include, of course, it needs a title and it needs a composer, right? And that's you. So a meaningful title, please. Titles give pieces a little bit more importance and I don't know, it's more fun. So please include a title and definitely put your name on it. Don't forget tempo and tempo changes. A great way to differentiate between sections of a piece is by tempo changes and key changes if you're using keys. And so definitely tempo and tempo changes, clefs, keys, time signatures, all those elements are great ways to divide a form. Utilize unique time signatures if you want to. Take chances, make things as interesting as you want. These are really the only rules to this, so this is not too scary in terms of like theory and correctness. Articulations, phrasings, other performance and expressive text must be there, right? You have to be thinking about the musicality of all these elements, and of course dynamics and dynamic changes. Those are extremely important, and do not forget to include those in anything you do, even if it is a sketch. So composing the piece is one thing. You'll also need to explain your work in a write-up that basically explains how you put the piece together. Describe your approach to it in terms of what you used, what you liked from the previous parts of the class that you wanted to implement into this piece, and basically explain the title, explain the form, explain the way it's composed. You're basically providing program notes for the piece. You describe the techniques used, how you arrange the piece into a form, and what it may represent for you. You can also use this paper to reflect on your compositional experience. Was it difficult, or what you enjoyed about putting this together? So reflect on your compositional approach, and now that you're a composer, how did it go, basically? Upload a score as a PDF and an audio file, and your response paper to the Dropbox. And that would be due at the end of the term on the 9th. Again, this is supposed to be fun and enjoyable. Also, I'm sure it'll be challenging for a lot of us, and something to think about. So definitely rely upon your local network of musicians if you want to. You can, like I said, take some chances. As long as it's adhering to these guidelines, we are A-OK, and it's all good. So if you want to run a draft by me, or if you have any questions about the project, let me know. If you wish that I do not share your work with anyone, please let me know. Otherwise, I'll just assume that we can put them all in a folder, and I can put them up here on D2L to share with the class. If you have any comments or questions in the meantime, definitely reach out to me. I'll be happy to answer them. And so I really look forward to your final projects. They're always a very rewarding part of the term, and I hope you've enjoyed the course. So thank you.